Now, a couple of years ago, my cousin had a shunt in his car, and whilst it was being repaired, he had a Fiat Panda. Now, for about 4.5 weeks, I ripped him pretty much every single day for the car that he was driving. It was a yellow one. Now, for the past week, I've been driving this Fiat Panda, the new Panda. So, let me give you my thoughts on the latest version.
Fiat have embraced the squircle design both inside and out on the Panda. This city car aims to be practical, versatile and remain cute. And if you don't know what a squircle is, it's a hybrid between a square and a circle. Since we first saw the Panda on our roads in 1980, this third generation version has come on leaps and bounds in terms of appeal and performance.
Now, I'm quite shallow when it comes to cars, and I like to find a car appealing, and from the outside the Panda certainly has got some looks, but when you get inside, a bit like the previous generation Panda that my cousin drove, it doesn't. Just using these buttons and these dials, it feels as though they're going to break. And when you come to this storage compartment for your glasses, you know that if I keep doing this, it is going to break, and I don't like that in a car. You could say, well, this is a cheap car, so what the hell are you moaning about? And you'd have a very valid point, because it is a cheap car and it's a cheaply built car, so what would you expect? But I feel as though there's cars in the same segment that have just got the edge slightly over this rather plasticky, cheap, mucky, frustrating feel.
The squircle design, as mentioned, is everywhere on the seats, dashboard, headlights, and if you really want to, you can add more with some bumper stickers. It's different from other small cars out there, it's got a bit of character, and the attention to detail is impressive. We give its appeal 3.5 stars.
There's plenty of storage. There's a rather large hole in the dashboard that you could put whatever in there, as long as you didn't mind it looking untidy. There's a glove box, you could get something in there. Great example, there's a cover of the fuse box in there that's just kind of fallen off when you try and get that back on there. I'll leave Fiat PR to fix that one. So it is quite practical. There's 5 cup holders. What do you do with 5 cup holders? I suppose there is 5 seats, so I suppose that does make sense upon reflection. There's also quite large side bins and other little bits of storage dotted about the cabin, so not too bad on the practicality front. Whilst we're on practicality, let's take a look in the back. Whoops. Now, I'm not going to complain too much about the amount of space that's available in the back of the Panda, or the lack of it. It's a small car, what you expect, there's not much space in the back of here. You'd certainly get a couple of kids in here with relative comfort, and these seats do fold down, so if you wanted to go to the Tip or IKEA, as long as you weren't buying anything too big, you should be okay. So, there we go, that is the back of the Panda.
Although compact enough to easily fit in smaller spaces, the Fiat Panda is a practical little motor.
Now, the first thing that you'll notice when you come to the boot of the Panda is how long this actual hatch is. I mean, just to demonstrate, at a full arm's length, you've still got to take a bit of a step back to move out the way of it, and that's pretty unusual for a car that's so small. But nevertheless, there is a bit of boot space in the back of the Panda. But again, it's all very, very cheap with this rather tacky carpet revealing the run flat fluid down there, and it's all topped off with this rather frustrating handle. I have no idea why manufacturers choose these little annoying pieces of fabric over a handle, obviously to cut costs, but nevertheless it just frustrates me. Although I've been quite frustrated about this car, there's a rather interesting feature here.
For this category, we award this car 4 out of the 5 available square stars.
So there's no petrol cap, there's just this rather interesting looking cap type of feature that's actually mounted to the door. It does mean that you don't have to mess about when you're at the pumps in taking the cap off and trying to find somewhere to clip it onto or put it onto the roof. It makes things very, very simple indeed, and this really did impress me on such a car that feels so cheap.
There is a fair bit of engine choice in the Panda, and although it may surprise you, the 0.9 litre twin-air turbo powertrain is probably your best bet. This engine produces 85 brake horsepower and 145 Newton meters of torque, plus it can sprint from 0 to 62 miles an hour in 11.2 seconds and reaches a top speed of 107 miles an hour. There is also a nifty 1.2 litre petrol on offer which produces 65 brake horsepower and has a top speed of 102 miles an hour. But to be honest, if you're after a petrol, then the 0.9 litre is a no-brainer. However, if diesel is what you're after, then the 74 brake horsepower 1.3 litre multi-jet diesel unit is great. We award its performance category 3.5 stars. For a vehicle with such a lovely boxy stance, the Panda has minimal body roll, which is really surprising. Its handling can be made a little lighter, however, with the use of the city button. The Panda can easily manoeuvre through tight traffic and parking spaces in the city. We award this category 4 stars. The Panda has always stood out, and having already celebrated its 30th birthday, car buyers know its reputation, what it's about and who it's aimed at. This is unlikely to change, except that the Panda has added extras and style. We give its ownership category 4 stars. Although not as attractive as its fairy counterpart, the Panda is a cutie. It's a city car, it's practical, it's compact, it's got a little bit more style than before. So we give this vehicle 4 out of the 5 available Motor Talk stars. If you've got any thoughts on this car, then leave them in the comments box below. Alternatively, follow me on Twitter or subscribe to our YouTube channel.